Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Sunshine Coast Regional District regular board meeting for February 26th, 2026. It's 1:31. I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that the SCRD is located on the traditional territories of the Shishal and Squamish Nations. Directors, we do have a fairly lengthy agenda in front of us today. I've had a request to strike directors' reports from the agenda today. We've got a notice of motion from Director Gabius that we're going to be adding as item 8.2, which is just for introduction. And I would like to move the motions up to after item 3 on the agenda. Directors, are there any other changes to make to amend this amended agenda? If not, I would look for a motion to adopt the amended agenda. Director Lee, Director Gabius, all those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. So first up, item 3.1, regular board meeting minutes of February 12th, 2026. Before we adopt those, directors, are there any errors or omissions? If not, can I have a motion to adopt? Thank you, Director McMahon. Seconded. Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion's carried. Okay, so now we're going to go to item 8.1, which is the notice of motion regarding Sunshine Coast Pickleball. Director Bax, this is your motion. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. Before we begin, I would like to draw your attention to the last line after the of the motion, and I move to strike the last line.
You haven't made any motion yet, so you can just not move that as part of your motion.
Okay. I move that whereas the Sunshine Coast Pickleball Association wishes to enter into a land use agreement with the SCRD for the development of the recreation complex on the park's designated property immediately west of 1309 Roberts Creek Road, and I've got the folio number, et cetera, there. Therefore, be it resolved that the relevant staff meet with representatives of the SCPA to discuss the next steps in the process of entering into a land use agreement and return a report to the board.
Okay.
Full stop.
Thank you, Director Bax. You did submit the motion in time for debate per our procedure bylaw, and the additional item, item B, technically was constituted as a late item, but the motion itself is in order. So I will look for a seconder. Because this is park service, it's going to be parks function participants, so rural directors.
Okay.
Thank you. Director Inkster, I assume that was going to be your question.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Director Lee, you're seconding? Okay, so we have a motion currently on the floor. Directors, discussion. Director Bax?
So the rationale behind this is simply an opportunity for us to officially sanction the staff entering into discussions with the Pickleball Association. I see them here in the gallery, in order to find out what it is that the Pickleball Association needs to do in order to pursue the proposal that they have brought forward and how they're going to interact with the regional district. And I know that I've talked with some of the people within your executive, and that...
Sorry, Director Bax, to me?
Sorry. I know that the executive of the Pickleball Association has discussed with me, and they have information about similar land use agreements that have been brought forward in other jurisdictions that I think would be very pertinent and time-saving in this discussion. And I'm looking forward to seeing if I can find support amongst my peers here to put this motion forward.
Okay, thank you, Director Bax. I mean, the motion's already been put forward, so, we're in debate now. Director McMahon?
Yes, I get it that pickleball is looking for a home. I am just concerned that there may be other options, and to narrow it down to just this parcel may be premature. I still have not heard back any clear reason why the pickleball could not be placed next to the Seashell Arena in Seashell, which is already a recreational hub with parking and all the other amenities. So we do not yet know what's involved there. So I hope they will continue to work with the District of Seashelt as well, because it may prove to be an easier ask.
So, yeah, knowing that that question was coming, I did ask staff of the District of Seashelt about where things landed, because the loop hadn't been closed with council yet. And what I heard from corporate staff was that there was going to be a number of like lot consolidations that were going to happen in order to create, legal space in order to site the facility. Because I think the proposal that was brought to the District of Seashelt and that we sort of talked about moving forward with staff would have sited the building right across a property lot line. And they're both our properties, but there are setbacks, like there are procedures and requirements for properties when it comes to parcel lines. I haven't been able to touch base with the planning staff since you brought that question up. So I know from the corporate side, that's sort of where things stalled, if you will. But I also would support continuing that work in Seashelt if possible. Director Inkster. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to see more recreation in that area. It's a big recreation area, arena, golf course, soccer fields, lit, baseball. I'd love to see it, but it seems complicated. And I'm not sure exactly what piece you're referring to in terms of going across the lot line. I just don't know exactly. I know the layout. But also too, this board should remember that if it takes into account the arena property, then that's regional district in a sense too, right? Yeah, so not necessarily the District of Seashelt, because we've leased it to the regional district for the arena use. So I'd love to see that pursued, but it seems so complicated, sadly, for a group of people who have been asking for a number of years, much like the lawn bowlers were, for a facility. Thanks.
I think my first meeting with the Sunshine Coast Pickleball Association was back in 2019, pre-COVID. So yeah, definitely been searching for a while on how to land this. Director Bax.
Yeah, thank you. And one of the things that I think makes this particularly attractive to the people of Roberts Creek, as well as the Sunshine Coast and anybody who uses our community hall, which is a really popular venue. But one of the drawbacks of the community hall is the lack of parking. And so when I was first approached by the Pickleball Association, I asked them to include a parking lot that could be used by the community association for their events, as well as I asked them to approach the Disc Golfers Association to incorporate a disc golf course on this land. And I think that it could become a new recreation hub in Roberts Creek that would offer these type of amenities, as well as bike lockups for people that take transit. And when you get the chance to have a look at the plan, you'll see what kind of a boon it will be for my community as well as the pickleballers.
Thank you. Any other comments from directors? Director Gabius.
Thank you, Chair, and happy to see so many people showing up in support. I'm supportive of a sharing of information between staff and the Pickleball Association, because I think that's one option for them. That's one land option. There's the arena, there's, probably other ones as well. And so what would it entail for the association to go forward with this parcel? I'm totally okay with that. I don't know much about that parcel. I don't know what can happen there, and I don't know what the constraints of that site either. And I don't know if the association knows about any constraints that could maybe get in the way. But so all this to say, I'm supportive of the conversation between staff and the Pickleball Association, and just so that they have more information to move forward with their plans. I'm assuming there might be other options being explored at the same time.
Thank you, Director Gabius. Any other discussion from my directors, rural or municipal? If not, I will call the question, rural directors only. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Great. Thank you, Director Bax, and thank you to the Sunshine Coast Pickleball Association for bringing that forward. And
Forgot to say.
and we don't normally, we don't endorse that sort of, clapping and liveliness, but thank you for coming today, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Keep it locked. Keep it up.
Okay, and now our entire gallery has left us. So sad that they didn't want to stay for the financial plan bylaw.
Talked about the solid waste management plan engagement.
But moving on to item 8.2, which is a notice of motion being read into the record. We're doing motions now. And, so Director Gabius has a notice of motion to read into the record for next board meeting.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I have a notice of motion not to be debated today, but yeah, to look at future board, the next board meeting. So the motion is that the following be submitted to AVICC as a late resolution. Here's the resolution. Establishing a provincial system of local watershed boards across British Columbia. Do I have to read the whole thing? Okay, I'm going to read the whole thing.
Anybody watching along?
That's right, yes, for the public at home. Whereas communities in British Columbia are experiencing increasing drought, flooding, wildfire impacts, and water supply uncertainty that are contributing to infrastructure damage, rising emergency response costs, and economic disruption. And whereas local governments are responsible for protecting drinking water and supporting housing, economic development, and climate preparedness, but lack the authority, coordinated watershed governance structures, and stable resources to manage growing water security risks. Therefore, be it resolved that the Union of British Columbia Municipalities call on the province of British Columbia to establish a provincial framework and provide stable, long-term funding for locally based watershed boards, co-developed with First Nations and local governments to support watershed-scale planning, source water protection, and coordinated drought and flood preparedness across British Columbia.
Thank you, Director Gabius, and that will be up on the next board meeting agenda. It's too bad you didn't make it longer, though. Just a little more reading time. Okay, and so we're going to move on to item 4.1, which is business arising from those board meeting minutes that we adopted before the pickleball conversation. So item 4.1 is an amendment to transit expansion funding resolution. Corporate Officer, did you want to speak to that real quick?
Thank you, Chair. So this is just to actually reflect the action that we have to take going forward due to the loss of transit expansion funding. So staff are requesting the minutes be amended to reflect the absence of that funding.
Thank you, and we've got a recommendation here on page 19. And that's been moved, that's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion's carried. Okay, thank you. And so we're going to move on to item 6.1 because we have no delegations today. Committee of the Whole meeting recommendations 1 to 8 of February 12th, 2026. Directors, do you wish to pull any of those for separate consideration before we endorse the block? If not, I will I will look for a motion to endorse, please. Moved, seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Director Gabius.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And just a question for staff, if I may, about the accessibility plan. Curious what the next steps are now that we're endorsing the plan. When are we going to see it next? What's happening now?
Thank you. Corporate Officer?
Thank you, Chair. So, subject to board endorsement of the plan, today we have a Let's Talk page that's ready to launch, as well as a news release. The Accessible BC Act says that once the plan has been put together, we must put it out for public feedback. So we will continue that process. And you may recall that we've also recommended that the committee terms be extended for the next 3 years to facilitate some continuity and ongoing conversation with that committee. We committed to meeting at least once per year to update the committee on the progress that the local governments are making on the plan, and just to provide updates on any public feedback that we're receiving. Also, following endorsement, the plan will have to be circulated to staff so that we can have a look at some of the things that may already be in progress, things that we may already be doing, and then to identify any new opportunities that the committee has identified for the local governments. So the process will be ongoing, and we'll be back likely to the board with updates as we go along.
Thank you. All right, and seeing no other hands, we'll move on to item 6.2, which is Electoral Area Services Committee meeting recommendations 1 to 8 of February 19th. Directors, are there any of those that you want to pull for separate consideration? If not, can I have a motion to endorse the block, please? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the block? All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion's carried. All right, next up is item 6.3, which is Committee of the Whole meeting recommendations 1, 4, 5, and 9 from this morning. And directors, are you wanting to pull any of those for separate consideration? This is, if you're looking at the PDF of the amended agenda, it's at page 32 and 33. Director Bax?
We did discuss this morning about recommendation number 9, the director's remuneration. At which point should we pull this now and discuss the appointment of directors for this remuneration task group, whatever you want to call it?
For simplicity's sake, yes, because we're considering endorsement of the block.
Right, and so this is the time, and so I
Okay, we'll pull recommendation
pull a
9.
recommendation number 9, please.
Okay, so 1, 4, and 5. I don't see anybody else jumping at the bit, so can I have a motion to endorse those 3? Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Okay, that's carried, thank you. Now, recommendation 9, Director Bax, you asked to pull it because of the, I assume, the appointment of 1 or 2 directors to this working group?
That's correct, and I'm looking to the other directors to see what kind of agreement we can come to as to who should be populating this group. There was discussion earlier today that we should have a minimum of 2 of us on this group and a pair of staff members as well. And so I'm going to recommend that Director Gabias be on this. No?
So I just
I
want
don't
to
know how
check
to do
with
this.
our corporate officer.
Okay.
Because it's a working group, I think as board chair, I can appoint people directly to it unless you guys otherwise direct. Not to put you on the spot, corporate officer.
So there's no formal guidelines around working group. I believe it should be at the board's discretion. If the board's comfortable with the board chair appointing individuals, I don't see an issue with that from a procedural perspective.
Okay, so I've seen head nods this far. Director McMahon.
Yeah, I would be fine with the board chair appointing. He has, in all previous instances, talked to us about whether we want to do this. He doesn't told us. So if we just change the wording to say, and that the board chair appoint 1 or 2 directors to the working group, and so then the recommendation can stand, and I will just suggest, although it may not, my suggestion is that it be 1 EA director and one municipal director. Thanks.
But you're going to move the recommendation with,
I move
chair.
recommendation number 9 with the addition of the word chair.
okay. And I've got a seconder for that. Any other discussion? Yeah, so this is on page 33 of the amended agenda package, which is that a working group comprised of directors and staff be established to conduct an internal review of directors' remuneration, allowances, expense reimbursements, and benefits, and that the board chair appoint 1 to 2 directors to the working group, and that the CAO appoint 1 or 2 staff to the working group, and that a report be brought back before Q4 2026 with recommendations for directors' remunerations, allowances, expense reimbursements, and benefits, and further that this recommendation be forwarded to the February 26th board meeting. So, yeah. And I hear you guys loud and clear, and, you know, because we only talked about it this morning as this being the path, be kind of short notice to try and pull together who wants to be on it, so we'll figure it out over the next couple days. But I don't see any other hands up, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? Thank you, that's unanimous. And so with that, I think we move on to item 6.4, which is contract award for RFP 2511702, mobile device services. This is starting on page 34 of our amended agenda. And Manager Nelson, was there anything you wanted to introduce on this report?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this report requests board direction on options to award a 3-year mobile device services contract. The SRD has received 2 compliant bids from Rogers and TELUS that met requirements in response to the RFP that was closed in December, with TELUS receiving the highest overall value score. Thank you, Chair.
Great, thank you very much. Directors, any questions, discussion, recommendations? Director Bax?
Just a curiosity question, how many mobile devices are we talking about here? Just for curiosity's sake.
I thought I had read it, but my apologies, it's
I
not
looked
coming
through
to
it,
me
I
right
couldn't see
now.
anything.
So, Manager Nelson?
Yes, thank you for the question. We currently have 226 mobile devices, but in conjunction with creating a mobile device allocations policy, we were able to identify 54 of those devices which wouldn't meet the criteria with the new contract, so we'd be getting it down to about 172.
Thank you. Yeah. So, directors, Director Gabius?
I was just wanted to move the recommendations on page 31.
Thank you, and I've got a seconder for that. So it's 34 of the amended agenda package. That's okay. I appreciate you have that copy open so that when somebody else has that copy open, they know what page it's on. I don't see any other hands up though, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? Thank you. Anybody opposed? That motion's carried. Thank you, Manager Nelson. Next up, we have item 6.5, which is the Pender Harbor Living Heritage Society, portable on Sarah Ray Hall land. This is starting on page 36 of the amended package. And I'll turn this over to staff to, sorry, Manager Huntington, I'm getting caught up myself. Was there anything you wanted to speak to with this report?
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of the report before you is to provide an update to the board regarding the Pender Harbor Living Heritage Society's request to place a portable building on the Sarah Ray Hall property. Staff have received correspondence from the society advising that they will not be proceeding with the relocation of the building. And given this change, staff are recommending that the outstanding board directive be rescinded. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to look to the area director. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the recommendations as stated on page 36.
Thank you, and I've got a seconder for that. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Any opposed? That motion's carried. Thank you, Manager Huntington. And next up, we have item 7.1, which is a letter from Liz Kelly Egmont Community Club regarding a request for a letter of support for Phase 2 project property revitalization. Director Lee, I'll look to you because it's your area.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd like to make a motion that the SCRD Board provide a letter in support with respect to the Egmont Community Club's Phase 2 Waterfront Park and Play project.
Thank you. I've got a seconder for that. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. All right, we've already dealt with item 8. So now we move on to bylaws, everybody's favorite. And first up is item 9.1, SCRD Municipal Ticket Information System Amendment Bylaw 558.14, 2026. Starting on page 46, Corporate Officer, did you have anything you wanted to introduce?
Thank you, Chair. I'll just point out that item 9.1 and 9.2 are both ticketing bylaws coming forward in order to align our ticketing offenses and fines with the newly adopted building bylaw number 779 and the water rates and regulations bylaw 778.
Thank you. And I can do 3 readings at a time on this one, right? First, second, and third?
Correct.
Thank you. If there's no opposition to doing first, second, and third readings at once, can I have a motion for first, second, and third reading of Sunshine Coast Regional District Municipal Ticket Information System Amendment Bylaw number 558.14, 2026? So moved by Director Inkster, seconded by Director McMahon. Is there any discussion or debate on this motion? If not, I will call the question. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Now, can I have a motion? I should say this is voting all directors, 1 vote each. Now, can I have a motion for Sunshine Coast Regional District Municipal Ticket Information System Amendment Bylaw number 558.14, 2026 for adoption? Moved, seconded. Any final comments or any comments at all? I will call the question then. All those in favor? Thank you, that is carried. And so now we will move on to item 9.2, which is Sunshine Coast Regional District Bylaw Notice Enforcement Amendment Bylaw number 638.15, 2026. Can I have a motion for first, second, and third reading? Director Inkster. Director Lee, seconding. Thank you. Is there any discussion on this particular motion? If not, this is all directors, 1 vote each. All those in favor? Thank you, that is carried. Now, may I have a motion to adopt Sunshine Coast Regional District Bylaw Notice Enforcement Amendment Bylaw number 638.15, 2026? Director Gabius. Director McMahon, thank you very much. Any final comments? All those in favor? Thank you. Anybody opposed? That motion is carried. All right, thank you very much. And so moving on to item 9.3, which is the Sunshine Coast Regional District 2026 to 2030 Financial Plan Bylaw, number 781, 2026. CAO, did you want to speak to this or introduce it in any way, shape, or form? No? Then here it is. Okay. Now, directors, again, we can do 3 readings of this one at the same time as well. Perfect. Do I have any opposition to doing first, second, and third reading at one go? No? Can I have a motion to give first, second, and third reading to Sunshine Coast Regional District 2026 to 2030 Financial Plan Bylaw number 781, 2026? Moved, Director Inkster. I see your hand, thank you. Director Lee seconding. Any discussion? Director McMahon.
Yeah, our budget process is extremely complicated and very challenging. And when I saw the bottom line, I wasn't altogether happy. And I thought about voting against the budget very seriously. I'm not going to do that because I don't think there's anything to be gained by doing so at this point. But I am going to remind the board that we did a survey of the public in October and November last year about priorities, financial priorities. And the public came back with their top 5 priorities were drinking water, fire protection, solid waste, emergency management, and parks. Not completely in that order every time, but that was it, the 5. And when I look at where we're spending our money, number 1 is drinking water, yay. Number 2 is recreation facilities, which isn't even on the top 5. And after that, our top five, and I realize this varies according to what services you're in, blah, blah. But our top five really are drinking water, recreation facilities, transit, solid waste, and fire protection. So I feel like sometimes our actual on-the-ground spending is not necessarily aligned with either our strategic priorities or the public priorities. However, that's a long-term challenge that we're going to have to deal with over the course of time.
Thank you, Director McMahon. And it's interesting because like transit, I wonder if how much recreation even comes to people's mind until it's not there for some reason. Close the pool for a couple days, or, don't run the bus for a day. And suddenly it's everybody's number one priority, even over, water and solid waste. So, that's my own perspective. We did discuss this at my council. We discussed this as part of the intergovernmental. I've been hearing pretty loudly, and I mean, the pickleballers are here earlier today, like recreation's important to people. Could they go play pickleball in a parking lot? Sure, but that's, another example of services where people are looking for more than just the bare minimum, right? Director Stanford, I saw your hand.
Wise words, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this? If not, I will call the question. This is all directors as a weighted vote. All those in favor? Any opposed? Director White opposed. That motion's carried. And can I have a motion to adopt Sunshine Coast Regional District 2026 to 2030 Financial Plan Bylaw number 781, 2026? Moved and seconded. Any final comments? Discussion? I will call the question then. All those in favor? And those opposed? Director White opposed. That motion's carried. All right, thank you. So we've struck directors' reports. We have no new business, any more new business, but we do have an in-camera section. So I look for a motion that the public be excluded from attendance at the meeting in accordance with section 92B III of the Community Charter. Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Any questions from online?
Chair, I do see the Coast Reporter online.
Okay. Any questions, Connie? Otherwise, I know we're going to be talking later. Okay, go ahead. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. Hello?
Hey, hi, Connie, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you, Chair, and through you to Director White. Is there a reason for the vote against the budget?
I mean,
Speak on behalf of the board, or do you do those?
well, it was a question to you.
Lots of reasons that have been over the budget process. I don't need to repeat them all today. It would take too long probably, but there were a number of votes that we had, both me and our alternate director too, against portions of the budget. And those, I think the reporter was probably present for those or have seen those, so those would be the reasons.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Connie. All right, so we're going to take a couple minutes. Well, we're going to go in camera and we're just going to take a couple minutes to reset the room.